Okay, who's the stranger preaching this morning? Yes, I am a friend of Pastor Amy's and delighted to be, but I'm also a friend of an organization called Lutheran Social Services of Illinois. And I've been involved with them for more than 25 years, and I'm proud to be able to stand in their name. But I'd like to give you a little scope of what Lutheran Social Services does, especially on this day when we are called to follow the Lamb. We're called to lay our lives down in the reading from 1 John. But my wife is proud of me. I have notes. I don't usually. In the last century or so, we have started to name generations. How many of you can name the generations from 1900 to today? Is there anybody? Until I looked it up, I couldn't do it either, but what do you know? I'm going to name them for you. There's the greatest generation. That's before and including World War I. And then there's the silent generation. That's between the big wars. And there's the baby boomers. Need I say more? Generation X, from the mid-60s to 1980. The millennials, we hear a lot about the millennials, 1980 to 96. Generation Z, they're getting stronger now. They go all the way up to 2012. But this list even names Gen Alpha, which hasn't finished yet because it goes to 2025. We don't know what they're going to look like. But I know one thing. Lutheran Social Services of Illinois serves members of every one of those generations. So it doesn't matter which one you're in and how old you are. If you need the service, Lutheran Social Services will do it. And in that respect, we allow many people to follow the Lamb and to lay down their life in a particular way that helps others. I think that's a pretty good idea. And I hope you do too. Now, other questions that will be asked about Lutheran Social Services of Illinois: where are they? Now, I know that they do not have an active ministry headquartered here in Lake County. But they have things that service residents of Lake County. In particular, somebody reminded me of the prison ministry, which has a couple of Lake County residents involved. But I'd read you this list. What do we do in Lutheran Social Services? Well, there's affordable housing developments. There's the Joshua Arms senior residences. There's home-based care for seniors. Listening to the crowd out there might be one or two members here who are almost eligible for that. There's community day services. There's intermittent care. There are silo homes, which are group homes for those who don't need to be institutionalized but need not to be alone. Autism homes. Homes for adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities and weight conditions. There's mental health services, alcohol and drug treatment services, and integrated care. I spoke about prison ministry. There's reentry services for returning citizens trying to start again. There's a storybook project, reading to the children. And visit to moms, where about 4 times a year, busloads of children get to see their mothers who are incarcerated. Things you might be more familiar with are foster care, therapeutic foster care, home-based services, Lifebook, the Nakusa Youth and Family Services in Central Illinois, and post-adoption services. And that's all I could find in a 5-minute search of the website. Especially if I 10, it could go longer. But I particularly read those because very often we don't know what we as a church do. Now, I know that you currently are supporting a ministry here in Lake County. I think it's called COOL. Can somebody tell me what that means? Very good. And because you have that, you're not quite as connected to LSSI, but you're doing good stuff. And that's important. LSSI represents the whole state and supports COOL because it's a good thing. But the whole point is we're called to follow Jesus. What does it say in the first letter from John? Oh, I lost it. I'll start over. We are called throughout the Gospels to follow and do. And in the book of Acts, that little confrontation we heard this morning was following the healing of a man. Healing comes in many forms. I cannot promise you if I lay hands on you, you're going to get well. I'm just not that good. But I can lay hands on you and pray for you. And I can lay hands on you by supporting the organizations that can help you. When I served on a committee for the LSSI board a few years ago, we were working on the prison and family ministry projects. It's actually when we started to pump up the visit to moms, which is a program that takes school children the ages that just got Bibles here, to see their mothers who are incarcerated. We don't know why they might be incarcerated. There may have been a drug problem. There may have been some actual felony. We don't know, and we don't care, and we don't ask. We think it's important that children spend time with their mothers. And then the reentry program. Do you know how hard it is for someone to leave the structured confines of a prison and go out in the world and live next door to one of you with dignity? We do this stuff because that's what Jesus would do. Jesus laid down his life. And we lay down our lives in extending our hand to those who need us. And if I were to say, what's the purpose of Lutheran Social Services of Illinois? I would say, we extend our hand to those who need us. And every time we hear Jesus do something good and call others to follow, we hear Jesus extending his hand to those who need it. We live in a complicated world. I'm hoping you haven't read the paper yet today. put you in a bad mood to come to worship. Read it later. But in the paper every day, you see things where someone could have touched somebody and didn't. We can't cure everybody and everything, but we can do what we do where we are. So I don't tell you to jump away from cool and support LSSI. I tell you, keep doing the good work. Be part of the community. And if an opportunity comes for you to do something for LSSI, welcome aboard. There are dozens of projects, and I know that you have a history of supporting in the past, and that's great. But mostly I encourage you to continue to lay down your life in a way that suits you here and now at St. James and in your lives around here. We are not an exclusive organization. We're an organization that encourages similar things. In the Gospel of Mark, John came up to Jesus and said, "Teacher, I just saw someone casting out demons in your name, and I tried to stop him because he wasn't with us." And Jesus said, "No, don't stop him. For no one who does a deed of power in my name will soon be able to say anything evil about me." We work together. We are a Christian community. We work together so that those who are in need might have someone to reach out to. And for this I say thank you. I say God bless you. And I'll tell you, if you need more details about LSSI, Terry will be out in the narthex to answer questions. But in the meanwhile, know your journey is blessed. Know that you walk with Jesus. Amen.